Greetings, dear colleagues, and all those who watch us online. Today, at the meeting of the advisory group of experts, all 6 members of the AGE are present. The secretary of the AGE, Mr. Jaroslav Romaniuk, and members of the AGE, Madam Hanna Suchocka, Madam Maureen O'Connor, Madam Natalia Kuznetsova, Madam Oksana Vasilchenko, and I as the chairman of the AGE. There are also 5 deputy members of the AGE present, and these are Mr. Thomas Griffith, Mr. Richard Barrett, Mr. Marek Zubik, Mr. Vasil Shakun, and Mr. Volodymyr Kuzminko. So I can declare our meeting plenipotentiary and open. I would also like to remind you that all official meetings of the AGE are broadcast live on the official resources of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine and on the pages of the advisory group of experts. And now I will give the floor to the secretary of the AGE, Mr. Jaroslav Romaniuk, to announce the purpose and preliminary agenda of today's meeting. Jaroslav, please, the floor is yours.
Дякую, пане голово.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, colleagues, and all the viewers who are watching us live. The chairman of the AGE has received an application from the AGE member, Natalia Kuznetsova, regarding her early termination of her powers. According to the regulations, the advisory group of experts, at its meeting, shall make a decision on the early termination of an AGE member's powers in accordance with Part 15 of Article 10/2 in the law of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. At the same time, in accordance with Part 5 of Article 10/12 of the law of Ukraine on the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, if the powers of a member of the advisory group of experts who has a deputy are terminated early, the advisory group of experts may appoint such a deputy to the relevant vacant position of an AGE member within the term of such member's powers. Thus, the advisory group of experts shall consider Madam Kuznetsova's application, as well as consider the issue of appointing her deputy as an actual member of the AGE. I would also like to remind you that on May 6, the AGE received documents from all the candidates from the Selection Commission under the President of Ukraine for the position of Constitutional Court judges under the President's quota. The advisory group of experts has put together all the received materials and finalized the list of candidates admitted to the evaluation. As a result, one of the AGE members indicated that she foresees a potential conflict of interest with one of the candidates and submitted the corresponding recusal application regarding further engagement in this evaluation. According to the requirements of the law and the regulations, the advisory group of experts in its meeting must consider this application. Based on the circumstances that I have outlined, I suggest to my dear colleagues to include the following items on today's agenda. Number 1, on consideration of an application of one of the members of the advisory group of experts on early termination of her powers. Number 2, on the appointment of the deputy member of the AGE to the vacant position of an advisory group of expert membership. And thirdly, on consideration of an application for recusal of one of the AGE members regarding her assessment of the candidates for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. Dear colleagues, are there any proposals, comments, or suggestions to the agenda? If this is not the case, then I would please encourage you to vote for the above-mentioned items. Who is in favor? Who's against? I can see none. The decision is made unanimously. So the decision is adopted to approve the proposed agenda of the meeting of the advisory group of experts today.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Dear colleagues, I propose that we move on to the first item on the agenda, and that is consideration of the application of the member of the advisory group of experts on early termination of her powers. As the AGE secretary has already informed us, we have received an application from our distinguished colleague, the member of advisory group of experts, Madam Natalia Kuznetsova, regarding the early termination of her powers. Dear members of AGE, you all had the opportunity to familiarize yourselves with her statement in advance and to discuss with Madam Kuznetsova the reasons and circumstances of this decision. So I think we can make a decision on Madam Natalia Kuznetsova's application. But before I put the matter to vote, I would like to give the floor to Madam Kuznetsova. Please, Natalia, the floor is yours.
Дякую, шановний пане голово.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Dear AGE members, first of all, allow me to express my words of sincere gratitude for the joint work together over the last 6 months. Since our first meeting in Lviv in November last year, we could create a team of like-minded people who were working hard to suggest the best of the best candidates to the Constitutional Court. We will not feel sorry for their moral qualities or professional competences. However, it's been quite a challenging task. We had so many challenges to cope with, but we successfully managed to cope with them with the support from our Secretariat. The most important objective is to launch this selection process on a new basis, and we've done that. I'm not quite a young person. I have quite substantial professional and civil society experience, so I can certainly confirm that the Ukrainian society, if not the first time, received professional and transparent selection process to the Constitutional Court. I think this is the key outcome of our joint endeavor. Hopefully, this outcome will help rebuild trust to the judiciary in Ukraine from the society. It's been extremely useful and really pleasant to be part of our discussions with you. I want to honestly thank our international colleagues. Without you, without your professional and impartial opinions, the advisory group of experts would never be able to achieve such great results. And especially, I'd like to thank our chairman, Ales. Thank you so much. I was so happy to work with you on the files of the candidates where we were co-rapporteurs. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I'd like to thank our analysts and supports who have been helping us so much, and the entire team of the Secretariat chaired by Mr. Alexander. You guys have been our eyes and ears. You made us hear and see whatever we had to hear and see. I want to thank our national colleagues, to Mr. Yaroslav, to Oksana, Vasil, and Volodymyr. I'd like to wish you maintain everything that we have built together over the last 6 months, which is the atmosphere of proficiency, impartiality, and objectiveness. This is something that Ukraine really needs today. I am quite confident that my deputy, Vasil Shakun, will compensate my absence at the AG. He's a reliable and honest person. Unfortunately, I survived quite a difficult surgery in January, which requires more lengthy and complicated recovery, which made me actually consider this decision, which was not easy. I could not just observe what the AGE is doing, and I will not do this in the future. I'll be with you mentally on this long but very important path. I want to wish you strong health, resilience, and wish our country to prevail and reach the ultimate peace. Thank you.
Thank you, dear colleague, dear Natalia. Thank you for your kind and encouraging words. Dear colleagues, does anyone have any questions or proposals regarding this item on the agenda? If not, I would kindly ask you to vote on whether you satisfy the statement by advisory group of expert member Natalia Kuznetsova about the early termination of her powers. Who is for this decision? Please raise your hand. Thank you very much. There is no one against. The decision is adopted unanimously to satisfy the statement by advisory group of experts member Natalia Kuznetsova about the early termination of her powers. So, dear colleagues, dear Natalia, on behalf of the all advisory group of experts team, members, deputy members, and secretariat, I want to thank you for your really fruitful work and efforts on implementing the reform of Constitutional Court of Ukraine. The success of this reform is also your merit. After all, during these 6 months, together with you, we launched the work of the advisory group of experts, and we set really high standards for evaluating the candidates. We will miss you as a strong, experienced, and professional colleague by our side. And we wish you strength and good health. And thank you once again for being with us during this difficult period of formation of the advisory group of experts and the first challenge in our work. So I would like to ask my colleagues from AGE whether they wish to take a floor. Yes, I see Yaroslav is asking for the floor. Please, Yaroslav.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I would like to also thank Natalia for this joint work together, which was a truly special period of time. I mean, the beginning of the advisory group of experts work and the evaluation of the candidates in the first rounds of competition with the participation of the AGE. In this aspect, Natalia's enormous experience and standing became a reliable support for the AGE. As Mr. Zoller just said, we will really miss you, dear colleague. Miss a colleague like you are, but we respect your decision and we wish you strong health in this very challenging time for everyone. At the same time, I would like to point out that Natalia Kuznetsova's powers as a member of AGE are terminated early on the day of the relevant decision, that is today, May 21, 2024. Also, in accordance with the requirements of the law, the advisory group of experts will inform the appointing body of Madam Kuznetsova, in this case, this is the Parliament of Ukraine, the Verkhovna Rada, on the early termination of her powers.
Thank you, Yaroslav. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And now, colleagues, I propose to move on to the second item on the agenda, and that is the appointment of the deputy member of the advisory group of experts for the vacant position of a member of the advisory group of experts. As already reported by Mr. Secretary, after the early termination of a member's powers, the advisory group of experts must consider the issue of appointing a deputy of this member to the position of a member of the advisory group of experts. As you all know, the deputy of Madam Kuznetsova is Mr. Vasil Ivanovich Shakun. Therefore, according to the law, he should be appointed to the position of a new member of the advisory group of experts instead of Madam Kuznetsova and within the term of her authority. Thus, I propose to vote on the appointment of Mr. Vasil Shakun as a member of the advisory group of experts. Dear colleagues, do any of the members have any questions or suggestions regarding this? If not, then I would like to ask you to vote whether you support the appointment of Vasil Ivanovich Shakun as a member of the advisory group of experts. Who is for this decision? Please raise your hand. Thank you very much. The decision was made unanimously, and we appointed Vasil Shakun as a member of an advisory group of experts. Congratulations, Mr. Shakun. Now, as the secretary of the advisory group of experts already reported, we received the documents of the candidates for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine under the quota of the President of Ukraine. One member of the advisory group of experts, and that is Madam Oksana Vasilchenko, submitted application for her self-recusal due to a possible conflict of interest with one candidate. All of you had the opportunity to familiarize yourself with her statement and the arguments presented. Now I briefly present this self-recusal regarding a specific candidate. If necessary, of course, we could discuss the application and put it to a vote. But please note that the member of the AGE, in respect of whom the application for recusal is being considered, does not take part in the vote. Do any member have any questions or suggestions about this? If there are no proposals or objections, then I propose to start the consideration of application about the self-recusal of Madam Oksana Vasilchenko. So, Madam Vasilchenko announced her self-recusal regarding the candidate for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Syza Natalia Petrivna, an associate professor of the Department of Criminal Procedure and Criminalistics of the Educational and Scientific Institute of Law of Taras Shevchenko National University. Dear colleagues, you had the opportunity to familiarize yourself with the arguments of our colleague regarding a possible conflict of interest. Do any of the members have any question for Madam Vasilchenko? If there are no questions, then I would like to ask you to vote whether you approve of Oksana Vasilchenko's application of self-recusal regarding her work in the AGE with respect to the candidate Natalia Syza. Who is for this decision? Thank you very much. The decision has been made unanimously to satisfy Oksana Vasilchenko application for self-recusal regarding the evaluation of the candidate for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Madam Natalia Syza. So, dear colleagues, we have exhausted the agenda for today. Thank you, and thanks to the Secretariat for fruitful and efficient work. We continue the analysis of materials regarding candidates for one vacant position of Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine under the quota of the President of Ukraine, in order to ultimately hand over to the appointing body a list of honest and professional candidates. I also draw the attention of the professional community to the fact that from tomorrow, May 22nd, and until June 20th, the acceptance of documents for participation in a competition for 2 vacant positions of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine under the quota of the Parliament will continue. So once again, I can call on all professional lawyers to take part in the competition. They are definitely honest professionals among you who can become judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. At the same time, I would like to thank the Committee of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine for the urgent processing of the decisions of the advisory group of experts regarding the candidates for one vacant position under the Parliament's quota and the recommendation to submit these candidates for voting. We hope that in the nearest future, the Parliament will elect one of these candidates as a new judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. I also don't get tired of calling on the public to follow the work of the advisory group of experts and, with their attention and participation, to be involved in the implementation of reforms in Ukraine. With this, I declare the meeting of the advisory group of experts concluded. Thank you very much for your attention. See you soon again.